Hey everybody, what's up? Circus coming at you with another Duel Academy video. This time we're going to be talking about the differences between ladder play and competitive play. And the only person I could think of that I'd ever want to come in here to talk about competitive play, because that's all he ever talks about, is our boy Herb. How you doing, buddy?
How's it going? So today I want to talk about the biggest difference between casual and competitive play. And the biggest difference for me is really thinking about the three phases of a duel. And what I mean by three phases of a duel is the setup, the mid game, and finishing it out, or the late game. So competitive players really pick apart the duel into these three main sections. When you're setting up, when you're interacting with your opponent, and when you or the opponent is going for game after kind of the dust has settled from that mid-game interaction. And why people think about it in these three segments is the early game, you gain a lot of initial information about your opponent, whether or not they bricked, what they're playing, what text should be considered, your hand, and how you should interact with your hand versus your opponent's hand in the mid game. So the
So,
mid game is what's up?
so it's more than just going in just balls deep every time, right? We don't just go in and just make the biggest play we can on turn one.
Yeah, competitive players assess their hand versus the potential for their opponent's hand to interrupt them.
Okay.
So what you want to do in this opening phase is really consider how strong your hand is, what your opponent's playing, and how likely their hand is to be stronger than yours based on your matchup and considering the potential text they may have. So a lot of information is being processed in this early stage.
So you don't want to just
Now,
go in and just do your opening combo every time, because it might not be the right play.
yeah, so you have to be able to adapt. So Cyber Dragons, you don't really adapt that much, but but some decks you really want to assess how much do I commit to this opening field based on X, Y, and Z that I am seeing right now.
Okay, so you go into the duel, you're getting ready to play, you're going first.
Mhm.
How do you make that assessment? How do you know what to do? Because like your opponent hasn't played a single card yet.
So the first thing that I do is I check the hourglass because
Hmm.
that'll tell me if they have a Lancia or a hand trap that's activatable in my turn,
And what do you mean
which
by the
is
hourglass? The little thing at the top of the screen, right? And what
yeah,
happens?
yeah. So it'll flash or like turn on if
Okay,
they have a response to me just starting play.
because
And
cards can activate at different phases, right? So if it's the first action in the game, it's your draw phase into
mhm.
your standby phase into main phase, and that thing's flickering. That means he's got something he can use, right?
Yeah, and we've done previous videos about the
Hmm.
hourglass itself if you want more information about it. However, it's a really important tool that every single competitive player uses if like they're like
Hmm.
actually good, right? Um, now the all of this information is going to be gathered, and then we're going to be thinking about that middle phase of the game when you're actually interacting with your opponent. So this is where you will likely have created a plan in the first like beginning interaction setup for how this is going to play out. Now you may have to adapt and you may have to think on your feet, and this is when knowing your deck inside and out is really really helpful so you don't time limit loss. Like Sakram with Ritual Beast is potentially the best player at assessing what his opponent has and what his skill ceiling and what his ability is to play through it. Like if you watch him play Ritual Beast, he will be able to assess everything like that because he needs to because he's playing a deck that has a lot of action. So that's really what this middle phase is about outplaying your opponent or just simply rolling them over by having a better hand.
All right, so the mid game, as you're calling it, when does that start? Is that your second turn, your third turn? Where does that begin?
So I would say it begins when people start making like real plays, right? So it's beyond just setup now. So like you're gonna make your initial board, you're gonna say, okay, your turn. And then when I'm actually starting to play through your board, trying to break it and trying to start getting to your life, that's where that mid game is happening.
Okay.
So it's like anywhere from like starting at like turn 3 or 4 and likely ending around turn 8 in Duel Links. No later than turn 8. Because once you hit that point, you're starting to enter this late game phase where likely both players are going to be running low on resources and what's going to happen here is whatever happened in that previous phase, in that interaction in between the players, we're going to end up at potentially an awkward situation where people are in top deck mode or people are going for game and potentially trying to OTK them, and all of what previously happened is kind of coming to an end and deciding a winner.
Okay.
So thinking about the game in these three phases will really help you assess your own play and help you make decisions in the middle of a duel. So what I wanted to do is get into a duel and just kind of show very briefly with Cyber Dragons, because they have a pretty defined setup, mid game, late game, so I can kind of show you firsthand how you should think about the game.
All right, so obviously we're not going to enter a tournament right now. We're not going to do anything like that. We are just going to hit the ladder, and we're going to hit King of Games of all places. So it's going to be a lot of meme decks, a lot of fun. So keep that in mind, but we're still going to apply the same principles, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. We're getting into a duel here. So already we're in the early game, right? The coin's flipped. Here we go.
Yeah, so right now I'm going to try to gain as much information on my opponent as possible. So we don't know if he has anything because it's always his action, so this is always going to be lit up. But we see Neospace, so I'm initially thinking some kind of hero something. However, we have to wait for what he does. He probably bought the structure deck.
I was about to say he's throwing some clues at you. I think he's got Neospace, he's got the mat, he's got the sleeves.
All right, so we're gonna see a keeper come out. Keeper's gonna discards another keeper, so he didn't really open strong. Although he's gonna put Brave Neos on the board.
So basically, right now you're looking at what he's playing and then trying to make an educated guess as what's in his hand.
Yeah, so I want to see how strong he opens. And so if he doesn't set these, he opened really weak. He's just going to set both. So he opened pretty good. The problem for me now, so now I have to assess what's in my hand. And what's in my hand is I have a search anything, I have a pop a bunch of stuff, and I have an immediate fusion that I'm able to do. However, I have to make sure that it's worth it.
Now, how do you decide what to summon? Because he's got two back row. Are you nervous at all, or you gotta kind of just play through it?
Well, I immediately just have to do core. Like, this is my play. Like, I have to summon core.
Okay, and we're seeing a delay here, so he's choosing whether or not to react to it with
Yeah,
whatever
so
he has.
he is more in like almost his mid game. I mean, we're technically in the early game still because I'm still setting up and I'm not like breaking forward yet.
Right.
However, he's trying to assess how much of my early game he wants to allow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab cybernetic fusion support.
So there's red flags everywhere right now. I mean,
yeah, so
it could be anything back there, but I mean, there's stuff going on, definitely.
Yeah, so what I'm really thinking about is like, what do I want to do? Because this is 3100 attack, which is a big problem for me because I'm Cyber Dragons and all of my guys are little monsters.
And the delay happened after your summon, right? So it could be like a Canadia, it could be like a Floodgate, something like that.
Yeah, so it's definitely chainable right now, which is another problem for me. I'm definitely considering using this so I can make a Cyber End Dragon, although that's pretty all in. I think I'm still going to Cybernetic Fusion support.
But there was a delay there too, right? Or was that yours?
Yeah, so it still could be Canadia. So
okay.
It still could be pretty much anything. So I'm just going to set everything in pass. This is a pretty good. So we're still seeing delays. However, that could be anything at this point.
See if you can see it. Oh, end phase delay.
Yeah, so we're just going to put up this board and kind of see how he reacts. So now we're definitely in the mid game because I'm done initially setting up, and he is going to try to break my board which
All right.
shouldn't be too difficult for him. But let's
Best
see
case
what I can
scenario,
do.
what are you hoping for right here?
I'm popping 3 for sure.
Okay. Because you need to break his board so you can set up your next turn.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna overflow for 3 here.
Well, he can protect that Neos, right?
Yeah, I don't think I'm even gonna go for the Neos point, to be honest,
Okay.
because what I want to do is I'm definitely popping 3. That's pretty much non-negotiable. So I need to pop Neo Space. I have to, because if I don't, I can't get over Brave Neos. Now, the immediate threats to me at the moment are his back row. So I need to pop those right now. Otherwise, I lose. Double mass change. That's nice.
Ooh, that was nice.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually wait. We can't let this go through.
No, you're gonna die. That is a good bit of information. That
I have to Cyberload fusion. Now
yes.
what do I want to fusion for? I have to fusion for this. We're gonna put the core and the Veer back in the deck because those are the 2 cards I don't really mind drawing. I think I'm dying anyways here. Hits the Canadia, okay. So now he's out of resources besides this. So now if I have the ability to break this, I have an ability to win the game. We're just gonna add another Neos Fusion. So now we are definitely now into the late game because I am almost out of resources here and he does not have that many resources.
Late game of
So
turn 4.
yeah, so I just lost because I drew into something that does not really further my board state. Is not going to protect me. He's going to be able to protect himself. So there's not a whole lot we can do here just in general.
So
So I
you
just basically
assessed with what information you had, your booty hand, his killer field, and you've decided what?
I lose.
Okay.
As well as so he has a Neos Fusion in the
Neos
grave. He also
fusion.
sent his bake in there. So even if I made something, he'd be able to stop 1 attack. Oh, he might disconnect.
So he's got overwhelming odds right now on you.
Yeah, I'm not winning that one.
Okay. And it's
That
always the proper
educational.
thing to do in a tournament, which is surrender. All right, so we switched up the deck because we want to show a deck that's a little bit more aggressive on turn 1 or in the early game. So we're going to be playing Shiranui, which is, I think, I like this deck. I always have, always will. A lot of people are getting tired of it, but I don't think I ever can. How about you, Herb?
I think it just has its place in the competitive scene. Okay, so he just passed. So we have the world to, and we have an amazing hand, honestly, but we have to consider what he could potentially be playing. So right now we see Zane Truesdale. I don't think that there's any other deck that plays Zane Truesdale besides
Right,
the
Cyber Dragons.
Cyber Dragons, which we just got off of. So the best turn 1 I think you can make versus Cyber Dragons is just a level 10 and pass.
You're not going to
Because,
attack in because you don't want to give him the Cyber style?
yep, I'm literally just going to put level 10 on board and pass.
And say, come
Because,
at me, brah?
yeah, I'm going to level 10. I'm going to set 3. And I'm going to pass. Because what this allows me to do is I have full control over whatever he comes with next. I'm able to protect myself. I have follow-up with Kazuki plus level 2 Engrave. And I just have pretty much overwhelming protection based on his brick. And we see Zane Truesdale, so we consider Cyber style. So we don't necessarily want to attack in and just give him a free 4K beater. I mean, I do have Lance and I do have Floodgate, so we could. However, if he has Cosmic Cyclones, I'm screwed. So we're not going to lose to a random sacking. We're going to play the smart, intelligent, drawn-out game.
So you want to control the pace here because you could usually just go in, hit him for 3,500 and be like, bam! But you want to kind of like control the game more.
Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna stop at that. So now we see no delays there, so nothing is really activatable. So I'm gonna get a Gazuki right here. I'm going to send the Solitaire. So right now I am trying to force this into the late game. I am just going balls to the walls because I know that I have kind of an overwhelming
Oh, he's got
force
nothing.
at the
He's
moment.
got
Yeah.
nothing.
So seeing that polymerization, seeing that there are no delays, I definitely just don't think he really has anything at the moment. So we're going to make the level 6. Solitaires are going to activate. I'm going to summon the level 2. We're actually going to be able to put double level 10 on the board, which is just going to mean I win here. Because what I did is I wanted to pace the game so I didn't put all of my money on anything at the start. So I'm able to adapt to the. I actually don't have a normal
Yeah,
summon.
you don't have another normal summon. That's
But
okay. We get what you mean, buddy.
but yeah, so I have a follow up level 10, and he has literally nothing. So this means I have game. Likely he could have Kite Ride.
There it
We're seeing a
is.
delay now. Kite Ride. Okay, so that's fine. We still have Floodgate plus Lance. Really not worried. This is definitely late game for him as well now because he has one set. He has one in the hand. He has Kite Ride in the grave, which doesn't do. Which will block one more attack really, but
So right now you're running all the options through your head, right? Like, okay, this is what I have. This is what he has. You're trying to
yeah.
think of every little thing that might happen here. It's like, okay, he's got a kite roid. That means I have to attack twice next turn. He's got a set card. He's got 2 in the hand.
Yeah, so
Uh,
I know this is a dead card, really. Um, so that's a lot really important to consider. If I level 10 pop next turn, if he sets like a monster at another back row, I'm probably gonna pop the monster in the back row.
and he
He's just gonna
scoops.
scoop.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that I mean obviously it's easy to show versus someone that bricks. Um, but I want you guys to start thinking through your duels like that and start considering everything immediately so you're not really surprised by anything.
Mm-hmm.
What this will do is it'll allow you to time out less. It will allow you to make fewer mistakes when you're actually playing through the duel, and it will allow you to hopefully start winning more duels and get king of games super easily.
Yeah. Yeah. Learn your deck. Learn the combos, and then when you get into a situation, you'll know what to go into quicker. Like you were saying with Ritual Beast earlier, just knowing what your end game is for your play, right? Like, oh, I want to go into
Mm-hmm.
this monster. How do I get to it as quick as possible using the resources I have available? And once you learn those, you can assess the field, like Herb said, and then get into your solutions a lot quicker, which will save you with the timer.
Yeah, so the biggest thing is just assessing your phases of play, your opponent's phases of play, and how they're going to interact. And I think this is a really big tip that a lot of casual players don't take into account when they're going through their duels and will really help you a lot.
Yeah, so if you liked what you saw here, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. And then let us know what you want us to do future videos on, because we love making them for you. So, you got anything else, Herf?
Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the comments.
All right, we'll see you next time. I'm Circus. That's Herf.
See
See
ya.
ya.